I didn't realize before now the scale of development that's coming to Wake Forest, North Carolina. And now that a train station has been announced, yes, a train station, Wake Forest is absolutely going to explode. I'll share all the fun developments that are coming to Wake Forest and why the train station is a much bigger deal than most people realize. And at the end, I have a plea to the town of Wake Forest. Let's start with some of the fun, smaller developments that are in the works, and we will build and scale as we go. Most are aware that the PDQ was sold, and in its place is an Eat Inside cookout. There wasn't much movement for months, but now it's just about open, or maybe it already has, depending on when you watch this. On the fast food front, another famous North Carolina burger chain is going up next to the Food Lion off Highway 98, Char Grill. There's already one on the north side of Wake Forest, so it must be doing pretty well. And more burger news, Whataburger is opening in the new Grove 98 mixed-use development. In downtown Wake Forest, there is a pretty large restaurant space planned along White Street and a proposed mixed-use development across the street with both retail and apartments. And the food hall located on the north side of downtown Wake Forest is still under construction, but there's been some movement as of late. I'm excited about the potential of this one. Firebirds appears to have filed for the opening of a restaurant in the Grove 98 development. There are 2 restaurant buildings on the plan, and while I haven't seen a report indicating Firebirds itself is expanding, why else would a restaurant project be named Firebirds? From the public use standpoint, there'll be a new fire station built on the east side of Wake Forest due to the substantial residential growth occurring that direction. And there will also be a Thales Academy High School built on the corner of Highway 98 and Averett Road. There are several greenway expansions planned and underway to extend the Smith Creek Greenway, the Dunn Creek Greenway on the north side, and the H.L. Miller Park just outside downtown will be adding some paved trails as well. Moving into residential development highlights before jumping back to the larger commercial developments, there are neighborhoods going up everywhere, and as a whole, they're going to be on the smaller side from both a lot and a housing perspective. You'll see this in the Kinsley subdivision on the north side as well as Joyner on the west side. And you'll see significant developments on the east side with larger subdivisions like Rosedale. And just to note, quite a few of these that you see in blue have already been built but are still showing on here. Moving into the mixed-use developments, Grove 98 continues its expansion on the north side of Highway 98. The Wake Union site on the west side of US 1, where it's already a large amount of commercial development, provides a mix of apartments, townhomes, and a variety of commercial spaces that will likely be a variety of stores, restaurants, and various other small business type spaces. And right next to that, the Amavi development is labeled as mixed use, but really appears to be more townhome style homes. There's a rezoning request for a mixed use development in the area by the Harris Teeter Shopping Center and Joyner Park, and that's a pretty large space to work with. There are no drawings yet, but I would expect yet another space with multifamily residences with ground level retail. And to finish up, there's several smaller sites that are all commercial, a several building site to complete the shopping center across from Heritage High School, and at the corner of Highway 98 and Jones Dairy Road, a shopping center with a Food Lion, a daycare, and a restaurant are going in. So Wake Forest, there will be no shortage of restaurants and smaller retail spaces. And don't worry, there will no doubt be more mattress stores showing up in these mixed-use developments, so you can rest easy there. All right, now let's get into the 3 most anticipated developments. First off, Wake Forest is reportedly getting a Costco, and the site that is being eyed is right behind the Lowe's home improvement store off Highway 98. Wake Forest already has a Sam's Club, but this would be the first Costco. Then all Wake Forest would really need to round it out is a Trader Joe's. This next development is a big one, and while technically it's not yet approved, it's hard to imagine it's not moving forward. UNC Health has proposed the construction of a new hospital in northern Wake Forest at Capitol Boulevard and Stadium Drive that will look and feel very similar to the one just built in Holly Springs. It will employ over 500 people after full build out and provide a much needed hospital for the area given the current drive to WakeMed North in North Raleigh. And lastly, the train station proposed in downtown Wake Forest will be an absolute game changer. This may seem like an odd prediction, but this train station will be along the newly announced S-Line track, which is the proposed high-speed rail that will connect Raleigh and Richmond, and completely connect the S-Line from Florida through Washington, D.C. But more importantly, Wake Forest just received a grant to also build out a mobility hub at the train station, which will provide convenient options for bus, rideshare, biking, and walking options. So Wake Forest will be advertised as a destination stop and see a significant bump in foot traffic from many visitors from outside the area. It'll also provide residents potentially an easier commute into downtown Raleigh. But I believe this increase in foot traffic will spur the rapid expansion of downtown Wake Forest even before it opens in 2030. We've already seen more vertical construction around downtown, and that'll be just the beginning, as the train station will push Wake Forest to go vertical at a much faster pace than it would have otherwise. This will naturally cause a spike in the population and the acceleration of the overall development of Wake Forest as a whole. Get ready, Wake Forest. Change is coming. But here's my plea to the town of Wake Forest. I'm concerned that with all of this development, that we're losing the forest in Wake Forest. Development is great, but we all can't help but notice everything is completely clear-cut with few replantings. In order to avoid losing our forest, please look at stricter clearing limits and a larger replanting requirement in communities, especially in residential developments. We do not want Wake Forest to turn into a concrete jungle, and lately it seems everything that's going in is doing just that. Now, with that said, Wake Forest does have some of the most beautiful neighborhoods I've seen in all of Raleigh, and if you want to learn more, check out our video on the best neighborhoods of Wake Forest. And for anyone wanting to see the major developments in other suburbs, check out our video highlighting the biggest developments in each of Raleigh's major suburbs.